Hello and welcome to Addestation. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. It is an education initiative that is worthy of our attention. In today's knowledge-based economy, professionals with STEM expertise can contribute greatly to economic growth and global competitiveness. Hence, many countries desire to incorporate STEM courses into primary school and secondary school curricula, in hope of nurturing a critical mass of STEM professionals for the future of the country. We feel that the most basic requirement of a STEM course is to be able to empower the students to recognize how the four subjects Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics reinforce and complement one another, and figure out how science and/or mathematics are used in engineering design to devise technology. Are creativity and innovation crucial elements of STEM? And if they are, would the above-mentioned basic requirement miss out creativity and innovation? To give an objective answer to this question, one must have a fairly good understanding of creativity, innovation, and engineering design. I hereby share my views on this. First, it makes good sense to associate STEM with creativity and innovation, and particularly, STEM courses can help develop creativity and the ability to innovate. In this regard, I personally feel that cultivation of creativity does not necessarily have to rely on STEM, as there are a few other approaches that can cultivate creativity. On the other hand, STEM courses that fulfill the above basic requirement would naturally develop the ability to innovate in an effective manner. The reason is that engineering designs often begin from theoretical frameworks, and from time to time, a theoretical design may not achieve the desired result in practice. The reason for this may be because the theoretical assumptions are not completely valid in practice, or the characteristics of the actual materials used are not exactly the same as what is expected in theory, or the practical scenarios are more complex than the theoretical framework assumed. Therefore, it is inevitable to identify and solve problems in the process of engineering design. If the solution that one comes up with is what others have not thought of, the device technology must be new in some respects. This is innovation. Therefore, engineering design, which is a key process of the basic requirement of STEM that I mentioned above, is an effective way to develop the ability to innovate. Besides empowering students to recognize how science and/or mathematics are used in engineering design to devise technology, Addestation STEM modules also incorporate the learning of primary school and secondary school science syllabus contents into the engineering design and technology innovation processes. One motivation originates from the fact that curriculum time is very precious. By allowing the students to acquire STEM knowledge and skills, and at the same time learn the essential concepts of science, we make the lesson 2 in 1. The other motivation is to deepen the understanding of relevant science concepts through STEM. Indeed, doing experiments is a better way to learn science than listening to teachers' explanation. Inquiry learning that engages students to construct concepts from experimental data is more effective than doing experiments that just verify facts. And last but not least, empowering students to recognize how the relevant science concepts are applied in engineering design to device technology will probably achieve the highest level of connection. Now let me take this opportunity to share the essence of two representative STEM modules designed by NS. One module is known as Blinking Lamp Technology for secondary school students, and the other is Electric Rocker for primary school. Their contents are closely related, and the main difference lies in the depth of investigation. We often see blinking lamps in daily life. For example, traffic police may display blinking lamp beside an accident site to caution road user. Shop owner may display colorful blinking lamps to attract customer. Blinking lamps are so useful that smartphones also come with this feature. The technology behind blinking lamps is an electric circuit that can periodically provide and cut off the electric supply to a lamp in an automated manner. The working principle of such electric circuits is in primary school and secondary school science syllabus. Look, this is a science question from Singapore Primary School Common Examination known as PSLE. It presents a circuit that produces blinking lamp and assesses how much students understand about its working principle. Therefore, the science behind blinking lamps is of examination interest. On the other hand, we also often see man-made objects that rock or oscillate in daily life. For example, I'm sure many of you have seen a toy cat like this, one arm of which keeps rocking. Another example is the wipers of a car that oscillate and wipe rainwater falling on the windscreen. Similar to blinking lamps, the technology behind such rockers is an electric circuit that can periodically provide and cut off the electric supply to a device that produces force in an automated manner. 2 years ago, I tried to set up the circuit presented in the above examination question, except that I changed the iron ball mentioned in the question to a taller magnetic object, which extends closer to the electromagnet. However, the lamp always remained lit and could not blink. To my great surprise, this seemingly very straightforward circuit presents quite a few practical issues that even our experienced engineers were unaware of. We ended up having to identify and solve several tough problems along the way to create a functional blinking lamp and rocker circuit. The great thing is that we have successfully obtained a couple of patents based on our solution. The lamp always remained lit because the electromagnet was unable to produce adequate magnetic force to lift up the magnetic object. In theory, we could add many more batteries to increase the strength of the electromagnet, but in practice, using say 50 to 100 batteries for this simple circuit appears overkill. So we fixed the number of batteries to 2 and tried to increase the number of turns of wires around the electromagnet. We started with just a few turns like this circuit diagram and progressively increased to a few hundred turns like this, but somehow the electromagnet was still unable to lift the magnetic object. Look, I place the magnetic object across the two metal plates to close the circuit. You can see that the lamp lights up. This means that the circuit is closed and there is current passing through the electromagnet. Now I use an identical magnetic object to test the strength of the electromagnet. The magnetic object falls, indicating that the electromagnet is indeed too weak. Interestingly, if we remove the lamp from the circuit, the electromagnet can leave the magnetic object without any problem. Let's see. Therefore, I would say the problem is more complex than it appears. Let us solve one problem at a time and focus on whether the electromagnet can really lift the magnetic object up to open the circuit. If it can, then there will be no electric supply to the electromagnet, thereby causing the magnetic object to fall. Once the magnetic object falls and contacts the metal plates, the circuit becomes closed again. This then makes the magnetic object move up and down continuously, and at the same time, the circuit opens and closes periodically. Look carefully. The magnetic object indeed moves up and down, and interestingly, this movement creates a buzzing sound. But it is just that the extent of movement is very small. If you connect a current sensor to the circuit, you will discover that the value of the current oscillates between 0 and a relatively high value, implying that the circuit indeed closes and opens periodically. The current oscillates at quite a high rate, typically 40 Hz to 120 Hz. This means that even if we succeed in making a lamp blink in line with the closing and opening of such a circuit, the lamp will blink so fast that the human eye cannot sense the blinking. Likewise, the circuit will not enable a device to produce force of sufficiently long duration to make an object rock. Therefore, we have to find a way to make the circuit close and open at a substantially lower rate. Then by chance, we discover that the electromagnet can occasionally cause the magnetic object to rock. But the extent of rocking is quite small, and also rocking tends to stop from time to time. So, the challenges are: 1. How to make magnetic object rock consistently with large enough amplitude. 2. How to capitalize on the rocking to make the circuit close and open at a lower rate. 3. How to connect a lamp to such a rocker circuit to make it blink at a rate observable by humans. Our engineers and I put in a lot of effort to come up with solutions that address all the above issues. Look, now the magnetic object is able to rock consistently with sufficiently large amplitude, so much so that it can strike a beaker to create fairly loud ringing sound. The lamp connected to the circuit can blink steadily too. Identifying and solving practical problems, like what our engineers and I have done, are part and parcel of engineering design and technology innovation. Coincidentally, the science concept that we make use of to solve those tough practical problems fall within the syllabus context of primary school and secondary school science. This then inspired us to design the two STEM modules, Blinking Lamp Technology and Electric Rocker, based on our authentic R&D endeavor, to empower the students to understand deeply how science and mathematics are used in engineering design to devise technology with first-hand experiences. As a concluding remark, I would like to emphasize that our classic STEM modules develop the ability to innovate in the area of science and technology. Indeed, we train students to identify and solve technical problems in the process of engineering design. If students apply such STEM skills to solve problems that others cannot think of, their solutions are by themselves technological innovation. Thank you very much for your attention.